test 2.
Check. Yo, let's get it going. Let's get it going, boys and girls of the day. All right, let's get out. Welcome into the Sports Buffoon Podcast. Oh, let's get it going out there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the world. Welcome back in once again to the Sports Buffoon Studios based out of Lenexa, Kansas. We got Jason JG to my left, Tanner Dawson to my right, Mike Sutter running. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
What's up, yo?
Oh, man, another wonderful Wednesday here tonight. Wonderful Wednesday night, as usual, with the fans out there. So thank you guys so much for tuning in once again, of course. NFL free agency, NFL new league year is officially upon us. Everyone is 0-0 now, right?
That's correct.
So have the Chargers won the Super Bowl yet?
They just got predicted to win the whole entire American League.
American League? Wait.
If baseball's on the mind.
Apparently. Okay. Well,
we talked a lot of sports today.
I just figured with it being a new league year, that means the Chargers are granted immediately to be the champions of the offseason, just like every other year. So I figured let's go ahead and hand them the title right now.
Yeah, they just got Eric Kendricks, brand new defense. Loaded up that defense again.
That's going to set them over. Let's Number one defense in the league. So
I would hope that they did actually win the Super Bowl last year because our resident NFL expert picked them in the preseason to win the fucking Super Bowl.
I mean,
did you let us down? What the fuck happened?
No,
there?
I'm glad you brought that up actually, because I did pick them to go like, what was it, 14-3 or 15-2, something wild like that. I just underestimated the fact of their ability to shit the bed, and so I forgot. Even I have my moments where I forget. Oh yeah, that's still that team, and I let the defensive additions last year get to me a little bit. But guys, besides that, obviously we had a lot to talk about today with the new league year here, and Aaron Rodgers and Chiefs missing quite a few players now off the roster at this point, but. First and foremost, hopefully out there, you guys listening are having a sip on with us. So, Jason, what are you sipping on right now for the show?
Some kind of rum. I didn't bother to look at the bottle because this is not my household. So I just poured some rum, man.
So Tanner,
somebody else can tell me what it is.
Hearing those words should tell you could have an empty bottle of rum, fill it up with some bullshit, and Jason will drink it.
That's true.
So he doesn't look at the bottle. He doesn't look at the label. So he'll just drink whatever you got.
Just throw something that says rum on there.
Whatever's laying around, man.
I pretty much will drink anything because these two guys at one time in my lifetime, they actually served me a beer that had a fetus. I think it was a mouse or something like that. A mouse fetus or something like that. They served it to me. I took one sip and I did not die, but I still threw the rest of it in the trash.
Don't forget all the grass that was in it too.
There was Roundup at one point.
Hey, at least you can live to talk about it. That's the great thing about life,
Right.
If you live
survived.
Through it, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
There was a time we were professional homebrewers and we knew exactly how to grow a fetus.
Hey, it's like riding a bike. We're still professional homebrewers.
Yeah,
it's like riding a bike, dude.
Easy stuff. So we'll do that sometime again.
I got me some younglings coming into play.
Yingling?
The oldest brewery still going.
Is that really the oldest brewery though?
I think so.
Is it really? I don't know.
When I looked at it in Pennsylvania, it's definitely an old place.
I'd be surprised. I know it's new to Kansas City, so it's not too bad. It reminds me of a Boston lager personally.
Yeah, it was good.
But overall it's good beer. No hate about it whatsoever. Speaking of Boston lager, I got me a Sam Adams Just the Haze. It is a non-alcoholic IPA, probably the best NA IPA that I've ever had, as a matter of fact. So that way, if you see me over here just crushing these as we go, no one's getting too worried about getting a little too wild on the show these days. So.
By the way, guys, if you hear this sound at all, oh, hang on, so got music going. So if you hear, I want our music go. If you hear this sound at all,
oh, Bob Saget!
That means there's breaking news happening in the NFL world while we're live.
Okay.
And by the way,
oh, Bob Saget!
James Robinson to the Patriots for 2 years and a max value of $8 million. So there's that.
There we go. They're trying to add weapons for Mac Jones over there. So as we speak, we have a lot obviously coming our way at the moment. Now, let's get to the biggest news right now of the day, guys. I mean, the biggest news of the week, and it's been going on. It's been dragged out long enough by this point. But he finally went on Pat McAfee's show today, Aaron Rodgers, and his final destination, hopefully his final destination anyway. The Jets have now, put themselves in a position of getting the guys that he wants. I mean, can you imagine that, Tanner? You're in a position in your workplace and you're telling this company who has interest in you that I will not hire on with you unless you hire my buddy, this guy over here first.
I thought he squashed that.
No, Tanner, they're not going to just go get Alan Lazard out of nowhere for no reason. They have good receivers there as it is.
He squashed that. Rodgers
Aaron is also a liar, Tanner. I want to make he's a diva and a liar.
He exposes the NFL.
No, he exposes the NFL to a degree, but he also is not always truthful. I want to get that. I want to make sure that we understand that, guys. Aaron's not the most moral person out there by any means. I mean, the guy lives in a little fantasy
I'll say
land.
it's real. Like
it's a little douchebag.
I'll say it's real. If Randall Cobb signs, then it's real that there was a list.
Randall Cobb's 72 years old.
If Randall Cobb signs, then there's a list. If it's just Lizard King, I don't care.
Tanner, the Jets were never going to get Alan Lazard if Rodgers had not been the one to tell them he wants them.
OBJ going too? Because it wasn't part of the list?
No.
I'm pretty sure that was part of the list.
Did you see the list? Is there a list out? You saw this list.
Well,
who was on the list, Tanner?
OBJ.
Is this like
it was the OBJ, Randall Cobb, and Lizard?
Is this like Epstein's Island? Whenever we have to see who's been to the island over there?
Well, here's the thing, dude. Like OBJ thinks his market is $20 million a year. You could call me like ignorant, but I don't think that's his market value. So I actually think the Jets have a chance to land OBJ because the market is going to tell him you are not worth 20 million. You're lucky if you're worth 10, dude.
Where does the desperation mode come from OBJ? Because he didn't get signed last year like he was expecting. And now he's trying to get that multi-year deal.
Well, Tanner, if you sign him, he wasn't going to play anyway.
I know.
He was shot the whole year. I mean, I'm serious. The knees were still not working. And so if you get signed, you get a signing bonus. Nope, I'm not going to play anymore. Here's $5 million to do nothing.
Yeah. No, that's
teams knew what they were doing.
How desperate does OBJ have to get signed?
Well, if he's asking for, not to get off topic, but if he's asking for between 18 to $20 million for a year, in his situation, he's full of shit. Yeah. Like the guy is delusional. The guy, he does not right now at this point in his career deserve anywhere near that range and number. Especially considering you haven't really played a full season in 3 years.
Yeah.
Not interested. No, not interested at all. But guys, so after the awakening and coming out of the darkness from Aaron Rodgers, he said he was 90% ready to retire, 10% coming back. But then when he walked out of the shadows, and here he was, he had this mental clarity, it's the post-nut clarity of living in darkness. He walked out and he was just like, okay, I got to go play for the Jets. That's what I got to go do, play for the Jets. And that's, which he knew that going in.
Correct.
Regardless of all the bullshit and shenanigans. He knew that going in. But what do you guys make of that? What do you guys make of the fact that he was 90% ready to retire and then suddenly has this awakening after the darkness that says to go to the Jets?
So here's what we know. We know that Aaron Rodgers said on the Pat McAfee show that, quote, my intention is to play for the Jets. Well, the last time I checked, Aaron Rodgers' intentions don't always pan out because his intentions were to be fully immunized. And I'm not fully sure of how that exactly worked out, but I don't really give a shit about Aaron Rodgers' intentions. So I think the door is wide open here. As I told you guys, I know the Raiders' door is completely closed. Okay.
It's done,
I'm willing to give that up. But everybody is, I keep hearing all this stuff about, oh my gosh, the Packers, they don't have any leverage. Dude, they have all the leverage. They don't have to do anything. They can just sit on him. I mean, if the Packers are smart, they're going to be willing to eat part of that contract and get a better draft pick, but they don't have to deal him to the Jets. And when I hear something like Aaron Rodgers say, my intention is to play for the Jets, that doesn't mean shit to me because Aaron Rodgers blows like the Chicago wind. Okay. Like he can change his mind. I mean, he thinks he's a god, right? So if he changes his mind, all of a sudden he can go wherever the hell he wants. Do you really think that bringing in you mentioned, was it Randall Cobb being 71 years old? Do you really think bringing in a 64-year-old Mercedes Lewis is going to do the trick for him? I mean, OBJ is not going to go there. And so my thought is just like, do we really think that he's going to bring in all of these old has-been bums and think that that's going to make him feel better at the end of his career? I mean, he's back-to-back. He's a 4-time MVP, won the MVP 2-time back-to-back. And do you really want to end your career like that with a bunch of old bums on the Jets? I'm just not buying it, guys. I'm not buying it. And the other issue I have is like the New York media and the media in general just loves to denigrate this guy. Like he's, I mean, Hitler or something like that. They just hate on him all day long. And, I'm not buying it, man. They're saying that now the newest thing is that, the Jets, they're only going to give him a second rounder. Are you fucking kidding me? A second rounder for Aaron Rodgers? No, you're going to get a first round pick. And, especially if the Packers can eat some of that contract, you're not going to give a second round pick for Aaron Rodgers. It just doesn't make any sense. And so I've heard everything by now. There's too much hate on Aaron Rodgers. And I think the Packers should get at least a first round pick. And then after that first round pick, they should get the farm, because at age 39, I know a lot of people like to say, Aaron Rodgers, he's washed. He sucks. Dude, he had a broken thumb or broken finger last year. So there's no evidence that the guy is washed whatsoever.
Yeah, he's not
like
washed.
He's still going to be playing at an elite level. And so if you have a guy that's going to be potentially playing at elite level next year, you should give up. I mean, what did they give up for Russell Wilson, right? Do we not think that Aaron Rodgers is still better than Russell Wilson?
By far.
I mean, what did they give up for Russell Wilson? I mean, please stop with the whole second round pick bullshit, okay? They're going to give up more than a second round pick for Aaron Rodgers.
But I think the problem right now is that the teams involved in this are confused about the value Rodgers has at this point in his career, because obviously it's very well known. Rodgers would like to go to the Jets. The Jets would like to have Rodgers. The Packers have already told Rodgers that they're cool with him walking out. The problem is that the Packers are the ones that hold the trump card in this situation. The keys to the Chevy out here of Aaron Rodgers, because obviously the deal has to be done between the two teams. And, the Packers could be the ones sitting there going, okay, well, we expect a first round pick, where the Jets are sitting back going, okay, Rodgers was 90% ready to retire, possibly going into this darkness. That tells us he's probably maybe a year, maybe 2 at the most away from actually retiring. So if we give you a first round pick, I mean, we're only getting 1 year probably of value out of this guy. And that should be scary for a team like the Jets. I mean, you're basically saying, okay, we expect to win the Super Bowl this year. If that doesn't happen, then we failed because we gave up our first round pick. So if you're the Jets in that situation, you feel cornered a little bit. If you're the Packers, you're just like shaking your shoulders like, sure, we'd like to take some extra picks off your hands, but we know what he's worth, and we can just hold on to him if we want to. And really screw everybody. Screw Rodgers, screw Jets. I mean, Packers just could say, screw all you guys and sit on them, and then you got Alan Lazard for no reason.
Now let's think about this. The New York fan base, how desperate are they to get a playoff game? I'd say pretty damn desperate. Right?
Well, let's see.
Sure, but there's more than that. I mean, it's more than just a playoff game at this point, because
they want.
You can't just look. The Jaguars made the playoffs last year.
They want to be
the Chargers, but that's what I mean. You got to not just make the playoffs, but you're going to be making the playoffs and being expected to either beat Bengals, Bills, or Chiefs. Correct. Once you get
the thing about the Jets is like they already have an amazing roster, and didn't they make it to like Super Bowl 3 or something like that? Is not their second best quarterback of all time Chad Pennington? Give up the fucking picks. Like, is it that difficult of a decision? We just sat there and saw Tom Brady play till age 45 or wherever the hell it was. You don't think Aaron Rodgers can give you like 2 to 3 years? I mean, just give up the picks.
He can, but Rodgers being the way he is, I mean, it should get you worried that he was ready to retire, wanted to retire before this retreat, and then came out and was like, oh, I'm going to go play for the Jets all of a sudden. Like, this guy had a wake and bake and was like, fuck, time to go to New York. Like, come on. I mean, that's what it seems like to me for Rodgers' situation.
If you're the Jets, though, that's what you do. You take a chance and you hope he stays around for 2 years, because that puts you. Aaron Rodgers puts you at a contender. If he stays in Green Bay, that's a contender. It doesn't matter where Aaron Rodgers goes. That's an automatic contender.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure, for at least a year, right?
A year or two, and guess what? A year or two of success for New York Jets right now is gold. It's gold. Okay.
What are they going to do in the meantime? Because obviously they have Pretty Boy back there
They're
who
not
bangs
thinking about
moms. Who
They're not thinking about it.
Well, no, not thinking about it. But I mean, personally, I think he was a terrible pick to begin with. So
Correct.
they're going to need to move on from him quickly. But you got to draft somebody behind Rodgers now. 39.
Right. Too full. He says, fellers. And he goes, "What's the shit? Just saw we lost Thornhill to a poverty franchise."
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that a little bit here in a few minutes, too, full. Look, I will say real quick, I think we all expected Thornhill to be gone this offseason.
Yep.
The writing was on the wall in a lot of ways for him. And I wish him the absolute best. I appreciate what he did in KC and was part of 2 Super Bowls. But I think that it was a situation where the drafting of Brian Cook and the Chiefs are in a situation where they didn't want to have to pay 3 years, $21 million to Thornhill. I think we got good productivity out of him over the years. So that's just the way it goes, man. It's free agency, and the Chiefs have lost a lot of good players right now. But we'll talk about that here in just a couple of minutes, because we got a lot of maneuvering going around to get to. But anyways, I mean, do we all feel the same way on the end result here for the Rodgers thing? Because to me, it's funny to watch unfold. I mean, as someone who really doesn't care about the situation, I want to see chaos and drama, because Rodgers is a little diva sometimes, and I've enjoyed watching the whole thing. And I would laugh my ass off if the whole thing comes crumbling down and nothing gets done, and he ends up having to
play at the Packers.
Be with the Packers again. I mean, that would just be a big slap in the face to the Jets if you're the Packers, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I don't know. It's just a weird situation.
I just want it to work out because I want him in the AFC.
I know you do.
I want that so bad, dude. And I want Lamar back on the Ravens, to be all honest with you.
Yeah. Let's see how much longer it drags out, because we all know what each player and team wants. It's pretty obvious. It's just a matter of what are the Packers willing to give in with, because at some point they're the ones that have to say, okay, we'll accept the offer. Because I mean, they could sit forever and then you get nothing really. Or at some point, you just got to, show your cards and say, okay, that's your offer. That's your final offer. Okay, we'll take it. Because at some point, they're going to have to accept it. They can't sit on him forever.
No.
Hold him till he's 40 years old for what? What are you going to get out of that then?
Well, they'll be a contender if he plays.
What, the Packers?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They're going to be the same thing they have been.
Aaron Rodgers plays.
No.
They're a contender.
No, they're not.
Yes.
When's the last time this team was a legitimate contender?
2 years ago.
What, when they faced the Buccaneers and Brady whooped their ass?
49ers.
No, the 49ers destroyed them.
Yeah, in the NFC Finals.
They were never going to beat the 49ers. And they were never going to beat the Buccaneers 3 years ago.
The last time they were legit contenders, that was the last time they were legit contenders.
Look, in that situation, the Packers were never going to be the team to win those games, whether the Buccaneers game or the 49ers game.
I'm just telling you, that's the last time they were legit.
They're not legit enough. That's the problem with the Packers.
Well, they're never legit enough.
They're not going to get back to that point again.
He's just going to Green Bay 2.0. So
this whole Aaron Rodgers thing just reminds me of The Decision by LeBron James back in 2010, 2009. Except, what's the difference? He did it 2 years in a row. It's like we all thought that LeBron was a huge diva back then. Well, Aaron Rodgers is a bigger diva because he just did The Decision basically 2 consecutive years and basically tried to hold the NFL hostage. So he'll probably do it again next year.
I hope that Brady can come back and one-up Rodgers on the drama, because that'd be the best thing ever. Brady decides, I'm going to come back for one more year again.
Yeah, the whole rumor.
That'd be great.
What was the rumor to the Dolphins? And then Brady chimed in.
Dude.
He's like,
Tanner, his excuse. No, that's not what he said.
Yeah, he did.
No, that's not what he said.
What did he say?
No, he talked about his daughter having a new kitten or something like that.
Yeah.
And like, who cares? That has nothing at all to do with you not playing football. It's a cop-out response to all of the media.
I'm telling you, dude, the second coming of Tom Brady, it's coming soon.
He's going to come back in June.
He's coming back.
I'm telling you that right now. But he never denied anything, Tanner.
I'm bringing up the tweet.
He
All
talked
right.
about being busy with a kitten.
On the screen.
You know
right
what they
now,
do? They grow older.
Tom Brady says anyone who thinks I have time to come back to the NFL has never adopted a 2-month-old kitten for their daughter.
Well, guess what? A 2-month-old kitten in March becomes a 5-month-old kitten in June and July. You know what that means? It doesn't fucking matter. That's what it means. He'll be back this year. It's going to be hilarious when it happens.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
You got it right for 1 year in a row. I don't know if you'll get 2.
We warned your ass last year, so I mean, we told you, but you didn't want to believe us.
I'm not believing you this
We'll
time.
be back again. All right, guys. Any big surprises so far in free agency that you've seen come through so far? Because I mean, we saw today Miles Sanders is now a Panther.
Yep.
Saw some of that. Baker Mayfield into the Buccaneers. Don't really care. Juan Thornhill obviously was just talked about. He is now a Brown. Who else has been lost along the way? There's been a few guys. The Chiefs have
For
lost.
us?
Juan Thornhill's gone. I mean, we got Kalen Saunders is gone.
Yes. It's the Saints.
I feel like I'm
It's going back to passing.
getting a
Yo.
bunch of them right now.
So we're talking Chiefs, right?
Everybody, but Chiefs. I mean, the whole
Everybody.
situation right now.
I would say my biggest surprise is the Las Vegas Raiders. You guys know that's my home, away from home. And I really thought they were going to make a play on Aaron Rodgers. They did not. Instead, they made a play on Jimmy G, got rid of Darren Waller, brought in Jacoby Myers. None of that makes sense to me. I think it's a shitball organization. I think that their opportunity to have somebody rescue them was Aaron Rodgers. That obviously is not going to happen. And so I don't understand what they're doing out there in Las Vegas, but it's kind of a shitball team, and I'm a little bit disappointed in them.
There was an interesting move. So Juju Smith-Schuster went to the Patriots, 3 years, $33 million, which was the exact same contract as Jacoby Myers got with the Raiders, which Jacoby Myers kind of laughed about and was just talking about it being a cruel world or whatever on Twitter. He thought it was ironic that they've got literally the exact same contract. And I'm sure Myers, in a lot of ways, had negotiated with the Patriots, and he saw that, they'll pay him exactly what I got, but they wouldn't pay me what they gave him.
And that's ridiculous, because we all know that Jacoby Myers is going to probably play more games than Juju. I mean, Juju will probably get injured at some point and not play as many games.
Jacoby Myers is a good, solid receiver.
Yeah, he is. And
he's solid.
None of that makes sense to me. So that was my biggest surprise.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, because when you look at it from a game-by-game perspective, I mean, Jacoby Myers very well should play the entire season based on his history, whereas Juju clearly has an injury history. So if you're the Patriots and you're a team like the Patriots who cares about the small things like that, it is a little surprising to see that they would let go of Myers so easily. So, but I think the Raiders got a good player out of it. I mean, I talked with you guys the day before this, and I was said, if Juju goes, I would take Jacoby Myers here to replace him. And clearly the Raiders got ahead of that. But, now we're in a situation with the Chiefs where they can't sit back and call it good. I mean, they're going to have to make moves, not only in draft, but there's still options out there. I mean, they could still make a trade for somebody. There's a couple receivers out there that should be on the radar right now, but obviously not an Odell for $20 million. That's not something that we need to be thinking about. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of concern right now, because you don't want to go into next season down Hardman, down Juju, and now you're going into this whole thing next year with Kadarius Toney as your number one, who clearly also has an injury concern. So
yeah,
I don't want to see that.
If you get lucky, Kadarius Toney might give you 5-6 games, something like that.
Yeah, I don't want to see. Well, I mean, hopefully he can get that whole injury bug figured out, but I just don't want to see that whole thing unfold. I think there's a lot more options out there. The Chiefs need to bolster this thing up with some more depth. And Adam Thielen's a guy who's potentially on the Chiefs' radar. He's 33, I think, at the moment.
Take him.
Sure, it'd be a nice veteran to add to the mix. I guess I would take it, but I mean, if that's the case, if that's going to be your WR2 or whatever, I mean, you got to go to the draft, and you better be ready to roll immediately once it comes draft time. Yeah. You could take my K-State or Felix from edge rusher and wipe that off the board and get a receiver early instead.
Twofold here says might as well call Slay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Darius Slay being a cornerback, I don't know
if I want to pay him.
How much that really would matter with this current roster, because I think there's some, the safety depth would be more the question at this point, more so than cornerback. A lot of good young corners in this team, still intact, and L'Jarius Sneed needs to stay a Chief. And L'Jarius Sneed is still a part of this team. He needs to stay that way.
Correct.
The thing about Darius Slay is I know he's not that old, but I feel like he's 15 years in the league.
I believe he's 32 years old, I believe.
Yeah, that's not exactly somebody that I would try to mess with at that age.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really fit what the Chiefs were doing this past year in the draft and development. And, we got a couple of really good young corners on this team right now. So I want to, Josh Williams, obviously, Trent McDuffie, keep those guys rolling in the position that they're currently in. I want to hold on to them for a long time and get them as much snaps as possible. Michael Burton, the fullback for the Chiefs, also
He's with
the Denver Broncos. I didn't care a whole lot about that signing for Denver. I mean, good for them, I guess, to snag a fullback. Burton had a couple of good plays as a Chief, mainly on 4th and 1 situations. But now this is kind of one of those teams where we've had a couple of good fullbacks now since Andy Reid came along between Sherman and Burton, but we don't use a fullback a lot in this offense. It's just not really a part of our scheme. And Blake Bell, maybe he'll come back and he could play that role as a fullback. Maybe that'll be the plan. Just because it's not really necessarily worth it to have one of those guys on the roster with the way this offense is constructed.
Yeah. I'm not overly concerned about that.
Yeah. So what do you guys think though? Anything else about free agency right now that's on your mind?
I think the Broncos finally went in the right route for free agency, boosting up the O-line. Something they needed desperately there.
So what do you think of the rumors currently, though, that Cortland Sutton and
Jerry Jeudy
Jeudy could both be up for trade right now?
I'm not. I mean, it was kind of like this last year too, for both of them. I think Jeudy will stay. I think Sutton gets dealt.
Yeah, that'd be hard though. I mean,
Russell Wilson's main target last year was Jeudy.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, Jeudy did miss 5 games, but Jeudy was still by far the number 1 target for Russell Wilson. So if you trade Jeudy, now you're taking away his number 1 weapon already on the Broncos of an already struggling offense going with the whole new coaching staff.
I feel like the Broncos are just one of those teams right now that is kind of like throwing crap at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I don't know if they have a real true direction or if they're just like, oh, let's try this and see what the hell happens. And, maybe this will work out.
Well, they made a lot more moves, I felt, to actually help with the surroundings of Russell this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to need help anyway, obviously. I mean, he's struggling over there as it is, and age is catching up with him faster than I would say most quarterbacks of his age. I mean, he's aging faster than most guys at this point in his NFL career, so I'll put it that way at quarterback.
I will say that I am happy for the Seahawks for locking up Geno Smith, who is a guy that's proven that he can be a top 10 quarterback in this league. And also I was happy for the Commanders, unfortunately for my hometown team, that they locked up Andrew Wiley.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Wiley surprised me that he left KC. I definitely thought that he would stick around. I mean, with everything that he's been through developmental wise, I just kind of had a feeling that he would stay in KC and, on a kind of a somewhat cheapish, friendly deal. But I guarantee the Commanders offered him more than the Chiefs did. And so for him, I don't blame him. I mean, take it while you can, man, because that guy has improved a lot over the last 3 to 4 years. So, I mean, if you get a big offer like the Commanders gave you, you gotta go after it and take it. Now, as far as the we got breaking news.
Justin Fields found his backup today, guys. Former Panthers quarterback PJ Walker reached agreement with the Chicago Bears. He will back up.
I seriously thought you were going to say Mitchell Trubisky found his way back to the Bears. That'd
be hilarious.
That'd be something else right there.
Now, PJ, he had a stint, right? He had a good streak going into Carolina, so he could do something with that team.
I don't think any of us want to see that happen. I don't think we want to see what kind of streaks he can be capable of making happen.
Let's keep Fields on the field, guys.
Yeah, I'd rather not see that streak again, whatever that streak was. But so currently in this situation, Orlando Brown Jr. is still a free agent. The Chiefs are weird about the signing of Jawan Taylor, right tackle with the Jaguars. Only played 17 snaps at left tackle in the past. It's kind of a weird signing because they got him for 4 years, $80 million, and they immediately talked about he's going to be our left tackle of the future.
Yeah.
Which shocked me. I mean, okay, it's like, well, okay, we got him. Okay, if that's the case, we got him on a pretty cheap deal, I suppose. But you're talking about a guy who's never played left tackle in the NFL, and you're just assuming you can just swap him right over there like this is Madden. I mean, that surprised me to hear that spoken of so quickly. I mean, I'm not Andy Heck. I'm not a O-line scout by any means, but I also know that some guys can't transition that easily. Some guys can't go from left guard to right guard. I mean, there's some situations where the footwork doesn't work that way. And as good of an athlete as Juwan Taylor is, we've still also heard some rumors that the Chiefs still had interest in Laramie Tunsil. And I don't really believe any of that anymore at this point. I think that's at this point not
It's
going to
over.
happen. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, does this worry you right now going into this situation where the Chiefs now have some glaring needs on depth at tackle? We need depth at receiver, depth at edge rusher. What's the plan? What's the game plan? Because so far we've got 2 guys under our belt that's been signed.
It's certainly an unknown with Juwan Taylor. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm worried about it, but it's just a situation where I think Brett Veach saw what they did with Orlando Brown Jr. and said, well, okay, well, he was the right tackle in Baltimore, and we transitioned him just fine. I feel like it's almost like an assembly line where Brett Veach thinks that he can just take all these right tackles and transition them over to the left side and think that everything is going to be just fine. And maybe he's right. I mean, and maybe it's all about the books and how can you
maybe in their mind they're going, oh, if he sucks at left tackle, oh, let's put him back to right and then we're all good, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but it could work out, but it's just there's too many unknowns for me. But I just think it's like it reminds me of Orlando Brown, where the fact that we got him as a right tackle from Baltimore, and then it sort of worked. That it got the job done at some point.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the mindset they have going into it, because in their mind, I think they look at it as, okay, this is cheaper than what we were going to pay Orlando Brown Jr. to be a left tackle, and we got this guy on a 4-year, $80 million deal, and if we have to play him a right tackle, it's still good value because we know he's been playing for 3 years, good player. It's an interesting maneuver, and I don't dislike it by any means, because I mean, with having both Wiley and Brown walk, you got to get somebody in the house. So that's a good start, but you're just putting yourself in a position now where stuff's dwindling away. Guys are leaving during free agency, and we haven't seen a whole lot of moves yet for the Chiefs. And we know there's players that are interested in going to the Chiefs.
Good point here. Dave says it does allow them to take the best offensive line in their draft at their pick, either side.
Yeah, there's flexibility there. That's why you could take a tackle there early, which you're going to have to no matter what. Whether it's in that first 3-round range, you have to take a tackle in that spot.
You're going to have, essentially, after you draft that tackle, you're going to have a 3-way basically fight for that, whatever side it is. It's either going to be Kennard, Niang, or the draft.
All right, which scares me at the right side right now, because Lucas Niang has never really done anything to amount to anything yet at right tackle in the league. He's just constantly injured. Personally, I don't think he has a knees to be playing in the NFL. I think if he did, he would be able to, get down there and play a few more snaps than he has so far. Darian Kennard, I'd like to see more out of him. I liked what he was in the SEC. I liked the way he played in Kentucky. I know in preseason last year, he was not athletic enough to withstand some of the pressure coming off the edge. He was beat pretty easily there in preseason. And I hope that Chiefs have obviously seen that and didn't get discouraged. Took him and went to do some training.
Coming off that big injury too then. So obviously we'll have to see more in the preseason.
I have more faith right now in Kennard than I do Niang, just because we've seen Niang now hang around this franchise for many years and never do anything, and just always be injured. And I can't tell you whether he's good or not. We haven't seen enough to know whether he's good or not. At least with Kennard, I can tell you, yeah, he struggled last year in preseason as a rookie, but there's something to develop there. And we talked about Andrew Wiley and, other guys like Larry Duvernay-Tardif, who both sucked ass for a while in their first couple of years, ended up becoming really good players on the O-line. And I think Kennard, you put him in that mix too. Maybe a guy who as a slow starter, as gets it going as years go on, and proves why he was, what was it, second team All SEC, second or first team All SEC.
Yeah.
No matter what in the draft, you got to go O-line in the first 3 rounds, but you also need to get another receiver. You're going to get an edge rusher again. So there's a lot of holes there right now, and I'll be curious to see what their plans are towards patching, but I would not be surprised if some sort of trade goes down to fill one of those spots in the next coming weeks.
And we just freed up more cap room. So Patrick Mahomes restructured.
Pat with the restructure. Okay. Yeah, that's the old Tom Brady trick. We always used to hear about that, where Brady was always trying to restructure to help out with cap.
It was Chiefs that converted $12 million of quarterback Patrick Mahomes 2023 roster bonus into a signing bonus. My bad, in signing bonus, created $9.6 million in cap space, puts us at the 14th most cap space in the league. This is per Field Yates.
Yeah, I mean that helps, and I guarantee you the team went to Pat during this situation and was like,
We got ideas.
What can we do to get
We
this
got
thing going?
ideas.
And obviously,
Are you in?
Pat wants the best for the franchise too. So, Pat's not out there scrounging around for money. So,
He still gets paid too. He still gets paid.
Of course,
Yeah.
he's still getting his money no matter what. But it's good to have guys like that in your team who are always willing. And I think Pat, over his career, is going to be always willing to work with the team to find ways to move money around to help for the current time period.
Yeah, the thing of it is when you're a $500 million quarterback, you're going to be more willing to take one for the team, so to speak, unless you're a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Then you're going to just
Ask
take the
for more
fucking money and
More money.
fuck
Well,
the team.
if you're Aaron Rodgers, you say you need to pay me now before I sign. You give me money now, and then I'll think
Yeah,
about
I
it.
mean-
maybe I might sign with you if you give me money now.
All right, we
Or I
got
might not.
He doesn't give a shit about
we got Dave out here says Reed and Heck definitely know linemen more than most. which
Right,
is
that's
true.
right, and that's exactly why I think the Jawan Taylor situation is a little strange, but I don't mind it because of the flexibility. If he's not good at left tackle, well, still got a pretty darn good right tackle there to sit there for a few years, and at least I have faith that they can work him into left and get that footwork down, and I think he could be pretty natural at it, actually, just based on the athletic ability we've seen. Now, I mean, obviously, Orlando Brown was by no means a great athlete on average to normal NFL left tackles. He was huge, obviously, but if you guys paid attention to his combine numbers, all of it was the worst in left tackle history, just about. I mean, it was pretty bad, and that's part of why he went in the 3rd round and was immediately moved over to right tackle with the Ravens. Where in this situation with Jawan Taylor, I think that you got a guy that can move around a little better, a little quicker feet. So I think it's going to help with pass protection.
Do you think it's possible that Orlando Brown could price himself out of the market and that the Chiefs could actually get him back?
I'd be surprised if the Chiefs got him back, but I think that he overvalued himself. And that's why the Chiefs called his bluff last year and they just franchised him, a year ago. In this situation, the Chiefs didn't want to franchise him. Chiefs were like, go find you a new team that wants to pay you what you think you're worth. Because clearly he's not getting what he thought he was worth, because if he was, teams would have been beating down his door, giving him big offers. It would have been a bidding war.
He would have been gone by now.
He would have already signed with somebody by now, and it's not happened yet. So to me, he overvalued his own ability, and other teams have watched him play enough and go, Patrick made you look a little better than you really are.
But you still don't see him going back to the Chiefs, right?
I'd be
That's
shocked.
kind of a long shot.
I'd be very shocked if he comes back to the Chiefs. Yeah, I'd give your boy Frank Clark more of a chance of that than I do Orlando Brown. So, yeah, I'd be really shocked about that. But, all right, Tanner.
What?
So we talked about it earlier a little bit, but I wanted to talk about, in you guys' opinion, the biggest current need given the Chiefs situation so far in free agency, whether it's wide receiver, whether it's defensive end, or is it really tackle? I don't think it's tackle personally. I think we got some glaring holes right now because you can't walk into the current season with this wide receiver core. You got to have more data in there. Same thing with defensive end. I mean, right now, George Karlaftis, and they re-signed Tershawn Wharton.
Yep. Got him
which
for another year.
plays kind of a hybrid. You could play outside a little bit as well as
Little
interior.
rotation deal.
But right now,
And we got the
is your best
guy from San Francisco.
right, and which we still remains to be seen how he's going to fit in so far, because there's been a lot of talks he's just going to play interior.
Charles Omenhu. Yeah.
But is George Karlaftis the best defensive end on this team right now?
I think so.
I mean, is that what we got? We got the best,
that what we're-
Pretty
the
sad.
best DN on
That's
this
pretty
team
sad when you put it like that.
is George
Is
Karlaftis.
Is that real right now?
I mean, I think so. I think that's the case at the moment. But then I could sit here and say the best receiver is always injured Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney.
So looking at these issues right now, what is the current?
So-
what is the biggest worry at the moment for the
It's
Chiefs?
free agent. So you got Karlaftis. You have Charles Omenhu, Mike Dana, Tershawn Wharton, Malik Herring, and Joshua Kendo.
So I'm going to answer the question right quick. So the biggest need right now is wide receiver. And you guys all know that I'm a defensive guy, no matter what sport we're talking about. But the moment that we lost Juju, I made up my mind that wide receiver is the biggest need right now, because Mahomes, I feel like he deserves a weapon. He has earned the right to have another weapon on this team. And when I'm sitting here looking at MVS, an aging Travis Kelce, Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, who might play, I'll give him 9 games. He might play 9 games this year. I feel like he needs to be rewarded. And I think that wide receiver is the biggest need, because it's an offensive league now, guys. The NFL wants to put up points because that's what's going to keep their fan base watching all of the games. And so I feel like offense right now for the Chiefs is the most important. I don't believe that for all of the teams, but I feel like wide receiver is the biggest need right now. If somebody's holding a gun to my head, I'm going to go wide receiver. That's the biggest need that we need to fill.
Yeah, because I want to make the job easier for Pat as much as we can, personally. I mean, I hate the games in the past we've seen. We saw a part of this in the Bengals game where all the receivers got injured, it seemed like, and he's out there running around with Marcus Kemp and, is starting with the ones, throughout the second half of that game. And I just don't want to see that unfold at all next year. I mean, it's amazing the things he can do with some really bottom tier receivers to make them look way better than they are. But that doesn't mean I want to see this have to happen. It doesn't mean he needs to be put in a situation where you got guys who, in most cases, would not be on the field at all for your offense, and most teams running around out there having to be the guys to get open for the best quarterback in the game. Now, I want to make his life as easy as possible, while we can enjoy him as the best thing there is. So, yeah, I mean, the Tufel here says, so go make a trade for Hopkins and sign Adam Thielen. I'm cool with that. I personally, I've heard DeAndre Hopkins would take a second round pick to get in this current situation with the Cardinals. I'm cool with that. I would do it at this point. Hopkins is not over the hill yet. Far from it. And got great hands. I mean, you know what you're going to get out of the guy when he's on the field. He's freaking amazing. I think that I would give, Patrick a year or two of Hopkins, and meanwhile the draft is right there around the corner. You got to add guys on the draft. So that's the route I would go in this current situation.
Dave's saying trade for D-Hop, Chark, Marvin Jones, Pringle could come back. Hardman could still return.
Marvin Jones is probably like 62 years old. So we got a lot of old guys we've talked about.
Who posted a picture today, right? On his Twitter? Your favorite receiver ever.
Oh, my favorite ever?
Yeah.
Is it Julian Edelman?
Demarcus Robinson.
Oh, God, Robinson. No.
Juju was not true number one anyways. That's true.
I'm not down with DeAndre Hopkins unless we're going to bring in another guy through the draft. And I understand you don't think he's over the hill, but he's a guy that's already done steroids. He's clearly not in his prime. I do not want him to be the guy on the Chiefs. Now, if you want to give up a 7th round or a 2nd round pick to get DeAndre Hopkins and draft another wide receiver, then I'd be okay with it. I'm not confident in this guy being the number one.
Yeah.
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Per Tom Pelissero, 4-time Pro Bowl tackle and Super Bowl champ, Orlando Brown Jr. is finalizing a 4-year, $64 million front-loaded deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. That includes over a $31 million signing bonus.
Holy
Largest ever for the O lineman. Good luck, Joe Burrow.
Hold on. Say the numbers again. 4 years and what?
4-year, $64 million.
That's not right.
Front-loaded deal with the Bengals.
Front-loaded.
So 4 years, $64 million.
$64 million. Do you want to read it?
I don't understand. How is that the most ever? I'm confused. Yeah. So it includes 31. Oh, the signing. So the signing bonus is 31 million. That is the largest ever for an O lineman. Okay. So the signing bonus is 31 million. But the actual year-by-year compensation is 4 years, 64 million.
That is
massive. Man. Hey, you know what? They need some fucking help on that O line. So more power to them.
I guarantee you that's less money than he expected to get on the market. I'll put it that way. He might have gotten a great signing bonus, but that money on average is not spectacular.
Now he's still negotiating by himself, right? He does not have an agent. Like he's doing the Lamar Jackson thing.
Yeah.
He's doing the Roquan Smith thing and all that.
He doesn't want to pay an agent 10% of his earnings, so he does.
That's wild, dude.
I think he really screwed himself on that.
He did.
The signing bonus is awesome. $31 million up front. That's awesome. But I mean.
That's pretty wild, man.
Just after that, though, I mean, that's a pretty rough contract.
I mean, I'm happy for the Bengals, man. Go to town, man. Like you beat the Chiefs, like what 3 out of the last 4 times. Hey, go to town and have fun with that guy. You know,
2 full year, amazing.
What do you do?
He says when Jason was talking, he says someone tell him he doesn't need to be this show Skip Bayless.
Oh, is that because I'm white? Seriously? like
not Stephen A.
I'm the only white.
You don't
guy,
need to be Skip Bayless today? Well, if you're Skip Bayless, we got to find a Shannon Sharp for this show.
If I'm Skip Bayless, I think Skip Bayless needs to do a whole lot more drinking as a day drinker.
They need help, but they didn't really get it. They just cost themselves keeping a tight end for a chip. It's true.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Man, who would have thought?
I mean, the Bengals getting Orlando Brown is funny to me, I guess.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess go for it. I mean,
he got paid. The money in the bag.
He got paid, but I mean, who's going to get paid no matter what? I just think he really didn't get paid nearly what he thought he was going to get paid. No, so that's all right. That's good. I'm glad we got that settled because we were just talking about Orlando Brown about 5 minutes ago. And I was like, I'd be very shocked if he comes back.
I couldn't believe. I clicked on him. I'm like, oh, this is OBJ.
Okay. So. I forgot what we were talking about, actually. We were talking about somebody, but we got off track.
You can swing back to Aaron Rodgers if you want. What do you guys think of the landscape of the AFC East? Because I've heard a lot of talk about the Bills are still number one, but, dude, if the Jets land Aaron Rodgers, like, I'm not convinced that the Josh Allen is even the best quarterback in that division because he played he was just okay last season.
Like best quarterback, assuming Rodgers is a Jet.
Assuming that Rodgers is Jet.
Well, Rodgers is over Josh Allen.
Yes, he is. Default. But like everybody's up in arms right now saying that, Josh Allen will still be
here's the reason Rodgers is over Allen is Rodgers does not turn the ball over hardly ever.
Exactly.
Rodgers is the most efficient quarterback in NFL history when it comes to turnovers. And where Allen last year showed his hand where he'll be out there tossing that ball all over the place and fumbling around and throwing picks.
It's a knee-jerk reaction. It's all over the media that everybody's saying, oh, wow, Aaron Rodgers is finally going to be the second best quarterback in the division. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you talking about?
The Jets have really good weapons over there, better than he's had, other than Devontae Adams, better than he's had in Green Bay for a while. And Adams was one awesome receiver, but I think as a group, the Jets receivers are better than what Rodgers has had in a while.
And Tufel says, watch Mac Jones outplay that division out of no way. Action won't happen.
he's got fucking Juju now, so they might be a little bit better.
That much better.
Yeah, I don't know how much of an upgrade Juju is over Jacoby Myers. Like I don't know.
The bottom line is they need to stop. Like If they can just stop Matt Patricia from being the offensive coordinator, that might be a giant step in the positive direction there.
Yeah. Yeah, the AFC East, I think if Rodgers is over there, he's number one. Just do that. He doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah. And he was a
So-
back-to-back MVP, and Josh Allen really hasn't done a whole lot these last couple of seasons. I mean,
he's never been MVP.
No.
So yeah, Tanner, what are your thoughts on all that?
On the Aaron Rodgers stuff.
Well, we already talked about the Aaron Rodgers stuff.
Okay, I thought we were done with that.
Well, you want to talk about Rodgers?
I don't want to talk
No,
about
I'm
we were
just like-
talking Chiefs for a minute, but we
Dude,
got
you
off
just-
track with Orlando Brown.
over
there.
Yeah, I
over
mean-
under how long Bills put up with the TikTok bullshit.
the Bills?
No, Bill Belichick
Bill
with Juju.
It look
No,
people-
but I think
it wasn't
Juju's-
a distraction last year. It's not gonna be a distraction from now.
Yeah, he's not like he was when he was a little
Yeah.
bit younger. I think 3 or 4 years ago, Juju was a little bit too much with it, but I think last
He's-
year with the Chiefs,
He's matured up. I
yeah,
think
a little bit. I mean,
he still does it, but it's
Wait,
not
man.
like
waiting on Patrick's
Horrible.
brother to get to that point.
Well, the
but-
other thing too is
God.
that Bill Belichick is not the same either. He does not have anything more to prove in his career. He's already the GOAT coach. So I could see a scenario where Bill Belichick is a little bit more relaxed, where he doesn't really give a shit if these guys are on TikTok.
Well, some of these receivers used to go to the Patriots knowing that they would have great years, ahead of themselves by basically having that discipline instilled in them through just the way that their organization was ran with Tom Brady and all that. And now with this, having Mac Jones as your quarterback and so on, I mean, I don't think it's nearly as strict as it was before.
No.
It's like now you go to the Patriots and you can't assume you're going to have a wonderful, huge breakout season anymore. Now you just got to assume like you're probably going to be who you have been for a while. So that's just the way it is now. I mean, Brady, as much as we want to credit Bill Belichick, Brady was a huge part of what made that team so good.
yeah. I ain't got much more to talk about for that.
All right, Tanner. Well, I think did we all answer the biggest need receiver at the end? I know
Yes,
Jason
we
said
did.
wide receiver. Tanner, what was your answer besides Orlando Brown?
Yeah.
Besides
Answer the
Orlando Brown.
fucking question for once.
So-
I was trying to get him to answer the question.
I'm sorry, we kept going back to Rodgers and crap.
No,
right?
that was later on.
No, get out of here. My biggest need for this Chiefs team here isn't wide receiver because I could care less of who's a wide receiver at the moment because I'm not worried about that right now. It's the defensive side of the ball. It's that defensive line. Why did our defense look so much better this year? It's because we put pressure on the ball. If we don't have guys out there to put pressure, it's pointless. We can score as many points as we want when they give up more. So I'm going defensive side, defensive line on my side. I don't care about the wide receiver because Patrick Mahomes will escalate receivers. Sky Moore, Justin Watson, hopefully his son's back. Like, I'm not worried about this. I'm more worried about the list I just named off before the whole segment.
Would
So-
you at least want to get a tight end in the draft?
No.
Because Travis Kelce is like
No.
getting old.
If we're in the first 3 rounds, I better see 2 defensive guys and an O-line. I'm not worried about receiver. Receiver can be deep.
Wow,
That's very, very interesting. So
So-
Kadarius Toney is going to play 17 fucking games. Is that what you're
otherwise,
telling me right
your
now?
starters are Sky Moore
MVS
and MVS.
And Travis Kelce is
Justin
29.
Ross.
Travis Kelce is 29 years old, and Kadarius Toney is going to play 17 fucking games. Is
Who's
that what you're
throwing in the
telling me
ball?
right now?
Who's throwing in the ball?
Kelsey's 33 years old.
Who's throwing in the ball?
He can't throw him the ball if they're not on
Okay.
the fucking field. You
Okay.
piece of shit.
Well, that's the issue. That's why you need defense. So he's on the field. How else are you supposed to do it? Were you supposed to play a 50-50 game every day? That doesn't make sense. Go stop somebody like
The
we did
whole
last year.
point. The whole point is to keep Patrick Mahomes on the field.
Yeah.
If you're on offense.
Yeah. So you got to make 3 and outs. Your defense keeps Patrick Mahomes on the field.
All right.
This
Well,
isn't going to be a
that's-
Russell Wilson situation.
That's your opinion, but the guy deserves some fucking weapons.
Correct.
I'm telling
This
you
isn't
that
Lamar
right now.
Jackson. This isn't Lamar Jackson situation.
Get
Go
him
get a
some.
weapon.
Get him some fucking weapons.
I still think the defensive side is the more priority at the moment.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
I don't think it's not like I
Like-
don't
like-
think we're going to get it. We're going to get like a
Yeah,
Thielen
there's
or-
other way. I mean, you can get an edge rusher. I mean, there's other ways to get an edge rusher and make a trade or some shit like
to be
that.
effective. No, trade of what? Draft picks?
Sure. Whatever the fuck you got.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying wide receiver will probably sign somebody. Defensive end, defensive line is our key for the draft. O-line and DL for the first 3 rounds.
I want a big shit receiver.
I know you want.
I want a big shit receiver. And Mike knows who that is. Like, I don't even know who it is, man. He is like, Mike knows who the big shit receiver is in the draft. I want that guy.
Well, first of all, I just don't want another veteran receiver as well as a rookie. So, I mean, I think we need
But that rookie, I think I can wait till the third, fourth round.
I'm not waiting that long again, guys. We drafted around, didn't get George Pickens last year. That guy would have been our WR1 going into this season if we just drafted him instead of we got Sky Moore.
We're not going to do it.
So you do want to go all in on offense and get DeAndre Hopkins and another. Wow,
I want
that's
Hopkins,
crazy, dude.
I want Hopkins and an early rookie.
That's fun.
When I say early, I mean
crazy.
top three rounds.
And then just hope and pray on the defense.
That's pretty.
No, open pray on the defense. I said top 3, so that means you can still get a receiver in the second or third, while getting an edge in the first. In that case, you're not giving up on the defense by any means as far as edge goes. I'm just saying I would like to have a veteran wide receiver come into this situation, especially considering we know the concerns right now with MVS, and obviously Sky Moore has a long ways to go, and then Tony's issues. So I don't like the current state of the receiver room right now. I have more faith in the D line right now than I do receivers.
You have faith in Karlaftis, Jones, Charles, Tershawn, Dana, Malik, Danny.
I know he doesn't have any faith.
Kando?
He doesn't have any faith in Karlaftis. I can tell you that, right?
I have more faith in
over Sky Moore, MVS, Tony.
Absolutely. Sky Moore is nothing special, guys. I hope at some point we can come to a realization of that he's just a guy.
That is a wasted. That was a wasted pick.
He'll be a guy, just a guy, but he'll also be one of those smaller players that's able to help out. I think it's
right. He's a role player, Tanner.
Yeah,
we don't want a role player. We want a guy that's actually going to stand out, make plays on offense on the outside the hashes.
Who I really want for wide receiver is what you want. I want some D-Hop. Go get D-Hop.
So
don't we all want?
Okay.
At this point, we all want D-Hop.
I want D-Hop.
I do not want D-Hop, but you said that you want a D-Hop and a third round receiver. Is that correct?
Third round at the latest.
I would much rather have an early round receiver and not get D-Hop at all. That would be my vote.
I'd rather do both.
I do not trust D-Hop because
how can you not?
Throw it up. The only way that he is going to be effective is if he does some more steroids and he then gets suspended again.
Yeah, I'm not super worried about anything like that. I mean, I think when you get, first of all, the Cardinals franchise is a mess, and Hopkins, I guarantee, going from Houston to Arizona, a couple of messy ass franchises, then coming into Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay,
that's going to change his whole mindset. The way he's seen all the franchise and organizations ran, he's going to walk in here and be like, "Holy crap, this is where you're supposed to be running a freaking franchise." It's going to shock his world.
I see where you're going with that.
So, I would say we don't need to be worried about D-Hop's anything off the field or whatever. I mean, injuries happen. You know, he's in his 30s now, but Thielen's 33. So I mean, at this point, we're looking at a bunch of old guys to come in as our WR1.
I don't want fucking Thielen. I would take D-Hop.
I take one of those two. I would take Thielen. I think he'd still be a really effective weapon, especially in the offense with Mahomes. Or I prefer D-Hop though.
Oof.
I prefer D-Hop for the deep.
I think you guys are convincing me slowly but surely.
The deep routes.
Run it back with the D-Hop, man.
First of all, I want Hopkins, plus I want an early receiver. Edge can be figured out along the way too. That's what I'm looking at right now.
D-Hop, I'm good.
But Omanayu, Charles here, he actually fits the mold of the size and structure that the Chiefs like in most of their DNs. As far as the Chiefs are, the way Brett Veach has come in and drafted these guys, he likes big DNs. He doesn't like the undersized guys. He doesn't like the Elvis Dumervilles of the world who, on their own was awesome at rushing the passer. Was he a complete package at the end? No, he was not. But the guy could at least create pressure, and he was very, very good at it. The Chiefs, and the way that we've drafted in the past and the additions we've taken, guys like Carlos Dunlap as well, we like guys that are big, lanky, long arms, and 6'5", 280 falls right into that mixture of the type of players the Chiefs like. And Tanner, I sent you a video of a guy that I'm telling you right now we're going to draft, and that's the Carlos Dunlap clone, Zach Harrison. That is
Mhm.
going to be a Chiefs draft pick in this class. He's almost the exact same height, weight, arm length, actually 36-inch arms, wingspan wise, or 36. What am I thinking? 36, 72? I don't know.
And what
Whatever.
round is he going in?
Well, no, right now we're talking late second, early third
Okay.
Yeah.
for Zach Harrison, but he is a clone when it comes to body type and the style of play. Very, very similar as Dunlap. So I expect him to be the guy that's on the Chiefs' radar. Might as well instead of a 34-year-old Dunlap, get a 22-year-old Dunlap. So I just see that's the kind of style the Chiefs like. And that's why I also believe that the addition from the 49ers here is going to be used not just on the inside, but also outside. And, like I said, let's not forget about Tershawn Wharton, because that's a guy that I could see playing all over the D-line as well. That's a big part of why I'm not as worried about D-line as I am receivers right now, because I think the receiver situation scares me to death. And the D-line, it'll work itself out. I mean, Frank Clark last year still only had, was it 4.5 sacks, right?
Yeah.
On the season. I mean,
But we can look at the advanced stats. I'm pretty sure it looked better.
well,
So
I'm saying anybody you bring in can do
so you
that.
can look at sacks all you want, but that doesn't mean that's an effective.
No,
wide
but
receiver.
I like finishing.
Jeez.
Well, I'm just serious. I'm serious. I like guys. At least they can
Forcing
finish. the play.
forcing guys quarterbacks into a sack is also a productive defensive end.
I know that, but Frank just didn't do enough of that in general. First of all, George Karlaftis did more of that than Frank Clark did.
It's when you notice. I'm pretty sure when we pull advanced stats, we'd see it.
Yeah, I'd rather see Frank get out there and get 14.5 sacks than
And
4.5
four
and then
hurries,
an extra
right?
few rushes. Yeah, just
4 hurries,
not into it.
14 sacks.
First of all, I mean, he wasn't chasing down anybody. That guy was a laboring runner. That guy, he ran like he had sandbags around his ankles. I mean, that was a rough thing watching him try to run. So he wasn't chasing down nobody at this point in his career. And he acts like he's got the body of an 80-year-old. So I mean, that's part of the problem with Frank. But
Well, he's sober now, dude.
I'm serious. I mean, it's rough. But yeah. Anyways, that's my thing on that.
Frank
but,
had the Uzi. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Shit.
No, I mean that's great stuff. I hope.
Meanwhile, let's talk about Ja Morant a little bit later in the show.
Let's do it now.
Right now.
Tanner's gonna watch
Why don't
Twitter
we save
for
that
us.
for Saturday.
No, well, Tanner's gonna watch Twitter for us.
I am watching Twitter.
No, we just got to throw out the update here. Ja Morant,
Oh, yeah.
after the games that he has missed, he was suspended 8 games by the NBA. And so he's only going to miss 8 games. Like, dude, he's coming back. That's the most important thing. He's going to be back before the playoffs start. And so this is a big deal in the NBA because I had totally written the Memphis Grizzlies off. I thought that they had no shot. Even if Ja Morant was going to be allowed back, like right in the middle of the first round or second round, like the Memphis Grizzlies aren't going to do shit without Ja Morant. And now all of a sudden he's only going to miss 8 games. And so now they're back in the running. Now all of a sudden we have a Western Conference that is somewhat intact. Now the Denver Nuggets are shitting the bed as we speak. The Phoenix Suns are shitting the bed as we speak. Golden State Warriors pretty much suck right now without Andrew Wiggins. I mean, how many Western Conference teams do I have to go through before you guys are going to start believing in the Memphis Grizzlies now that Ja Morant is going to be back for the playoffs, baby?
Still finishing 3rd or 4th.
I mean, isn't this how it goes in the NBA? Nothing really matters till playoffs begin anyway. So, I mean, this is all. First of all, they've played well without him, I think. I mean, they got 40 wins on the season, right? I mean, they're doing fine.
They've dropped spots though.
We all dropped.
They're kind of like Golden
mean,
State. You get up to a 3rd and you drop down.
I'm just
3
saying
spots.
if they get to the playoffs and Kevin Durant decides to shit a turd and Nikola Jokic, all of his teammates, shit a turd. I mean, what do you have left? And Andrew Wiggins, at this
you
point,
have the Kings, who's consistent and are on the court.
nobody trusts them. There's not enough playoff experience on that roster. So what if Andrew Wiggins never plays another game the rest of the season? You not going with the Memphis Grizzlies
No, I'm
when
not.
Ja comes
I'm
back?
not. I'm going Kings over Memphis.
No.
I'm going Kings
No, you
over
are
the
not.
Suns right now. I'm going Kings over a lot of teams right now.
I'm telling you, the Grizzlies, if Morant starts in round 1 of the playoffs, they should be the favorite right now. I do not trust Denver. I do not trust.
I don't trust
I do not trust the Phoenix Suns with a rusty ass Kevin Durant hobbling into the playoffs. I do not trust the Golden State Warriors with Andrew Wiggins, where, dude, he's Dennis Rodman. He just disappeared. Nobody knows where the hell he is. I don't trust any of those fucking teams. But I do trust a Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies, if they are healthy, to win the West all of a sudden. I mean, like, it's like Mike and I talked about on the show on Saturday. Things are changing on a weekly basis in the Western Conference. Like, it's almost like we know what to expect in the East, but any team could come out of the West because things change so often. Like, guys get suspended, they flash their guns on Instagram Live. Guys like Andrew Wiggins, we don't know where they are. The Denver Nuggets, I mean, nobody trusts them. Like, and where are the LA Clippers in all of this? Does anybody trust the Clippers and Russell Westbrook? And it's just like, I feel like the Memphis Grizzlies are in the mix right now.
I don't know. Too much inconsistency for me to bet. Carlos, the Man New Yorker's in here, guys. I have the Kings as a dark horse. The best game this season's Bucks versus Kings. That's it. That's all you're going to get from NBA and basketball fans.
All right. So
the rest is just going to be blah.
I'll give you a dark horse here. Okay. So I was saving this up. This is kind of like a story that just came out 3 or 4 hours ago. So the LA Clippers, which everybody loves to bag because, you know, Russell Westbrook is so washed and he's such a shitty player. The story came out just a few hours ago that when they went to Denver for the February 26th game, there was a charter plane that got struck by lightning, and the Clippers team and staff was on that plane. The altitude dropped several times over the Pacific Ocean. The plane was shaking all over the place. And when they got off the plane, there was paint removed from the tail where the plane was struck by lightning. The passengers allegedly were screaming on the plane. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, the Clippers have won their last 3 games. They are the number 6 seed. If you want to bet on a dark horse right now, their plane got struck by lightning. Like, they all thought they were going to die. There are players that have been quoted as saying, we thought we were done. They thought they were dead.
You know what this sounds like? Space Jam, in a way.
What?
Sounds like Space Jam in a way.
Space Jam?
Your plane gets hit with lightning, and all of a sudden you start winning games.
You know what it sounds like to me?
Space Jam, dude.
It sounds to me like
superpowers.
it sounds
the
to
Monstars.
Me, the Monstars.
What this reminds me of is when Paul Pierce was in the NBA and he got stabbed. And before he got stabbed, he was just kind of like, he was an okay player. And then after he got stabbed, he turned into a superstar. And that's what I'm thinking is going to happen to the Clippers. This is lightning
in a bottle.
Literally in a bottle. They're like, they all thought they were going to die. And now they're getting ready to make a playoff run. So I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to tell you that they're going to win the championship. Like, they're not going to be my pick for that, but they are going to be a serious contender in the West. I do not care that Russell Westbrook is quote unquote washed. Like, Kawhi Leonard is a 2-time NBA champion. Paul George is still, I think, in his prime. And so Clippers, it's an amazing story, but I think Clippers are going to be in the mix because the Western Conference is wide open right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm with you there.
Dak Prescott got stabbed in college, and look where he ended up. I mean, look at him.
Well, Jerry Jones. He's
a
getting
lot of
paid
stuff.
by Jerry Jones, so he's a little bit of a disadvantage there.
I'm just saying. He
And
got
what
stabbed
do
today.
you guys think about Ezekiel Elliott? Like, is he? I know he was washed 2 years ago, but what do you think about Jerry Jones finally coming to the realization that he's officially
That's good.
washed?
That's one of the best things they've done, really. And I was surprised when they franchise tagged Tony Pollard, but I mean, I guess they kind of got themselves in a position where they talked themselves into it making sense. But yeah, I'm glad they made the choice to do that because the guy has not been good for the last 3 years. It's just been a big kind of waste of space, while Pollard has been a really good running back. So
Yeah.
they finally made a good choice.
It's just really sad to me because if I could put myself into Jerry Jones' shoes, I understand it's different because I'm not a freaking billionaire, but if I could put myself in his shoes, I would just go out and get the greatest general manager that I could find.
You might want
Somebody who's well
He
qualified
needs to.
and just hand over the reins and then watch my team fucking win.
Dalvin
know?
Cook's up for grabs. They want to trade him, so maybe Jerry gets crazy and wants to do a trade.
Madison signed a 2-year deal with the Vikings, so he's back officially.
I just want to see him hire a damn general manager that knows what
It'll
the
never
fuck he's
happen,
doing.
dude,
Right.
until he's dead.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what the Bengals fans have to say on Twitter
Oh,
about all
they're-
this Tanner with the Orlando
They're
Brown
high,
thing. So
dude. They got the best
they're fucking
signing.
stoked.
Number
Oh,
one,
yeah.
number
They're
one
fucking
offensive
stoked,
lineman.
man.
that's the best player they've had since Anthony Munoz.
Yeah,
They
dude, I
now
mean,
they have the
they're-
new Anthony Munoz over
This
there.
is the
their
guy.
O-line stacked.
Hey,
They're
man.
ready.
Oh man, they're going to
ready.
Super Bowl.
They're going to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
He's
They're
going to get him
ready.
over the hump.
I mean, Orlando Brown did it
Got him over the hump
for the
baby.
Chiefs, so you could do it for the Bengals.
Well,
Yeah,
man.
we already been over the hump one time before Orlando Brown. so
Oh, I
it's a
guess
little bit
that's
different.
true. Dang, it wasn't all him, was it? Man, I guess Eric Fisher was a part of one. Yeah, speaking of that, we could just get Eric Fisher's back on board. What do you think of that, guys?
He's still looking. So
Yeah.
yeah, no Bengals.
No comment.
Bengals
No
is
comment on
happy.
the Eric Fisher.
All right. Well, guys, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap it up today? Because obviously, there's like a lot of news going on right now through the Twitter sphere and so on. Still kind of keeping it up to date as time goes by with new free agency additions. I'm sure by next week, there's going to be plenty more to talk about and additions for the Chiefs and so on. And we're getting closer to baseball season, guys. Who's excited?
I am.
Tanner's excited.
I'm excited about
Um,
baseball, but more importantly, it's time for the easy money bet of the week. You guys got any bets you want to do on
Oh, is that
NCAA
your-
tournament?
Is that your final thought of the day? Easy money bet of the week?
NCAA tournament?
Yeah.
I don't think people want to hear me give basketball advice. But you can
Anybody
go
want to
ahead.
hit on
Anybody can get it. I mean,
all right.
come on, anybody can.
Let's
win.
talk about that K-State versus Montana State game, 3 versus the 14. Big Sky Conference generally does shitty in the NCAA tournament, except for Montana State. They generally do okay. So we got K-State minus 8.5 in that game. I am going to go ahead and take Montana State to cover. I do believe that K-State will win the game, but it's going to be a whole lot closer than you fuckers think. So give me Montana State to cover in that game.
I like that. Plus 8.5, minus 110 across the board, people. I like that a lot, actually.
Mine is a play-on game right now. Arizona State to beat Nevada. They're up right now 68-46.
Ooh.
So I like
good.
Arizona State to get the win there.
So to be fair, that's what I have currently in my FanDuel is Arizona State winning.
yeah,
And I picked
Yeah.
that 2
that's my
days
easy
ago.
money bet of the
you
week.
get on Barstool
Take-
right now. Just
Take,
fucking hit it right
Arizona
now.
State to
So,
beat Nevada.
I was on with Rec Room Sports today on Twitter Space, and we talked about this game of Arizona State, and I told him that if Arizona State wins, watch for an upset of Arizona State upsetting somebody coming into play because I really do think they could do it.
I gotta tell you guys, if you guys are in Kansas, I love that Barstool Sports app because you can just jump in the middle of
I
a
don't know how
game,
to do that.
jump in the middle of a game, and just bet on whatever the hell you
Say-
want. I love it.
Easy money bet. Missouri loses in round 2 of the
I
tournament.
like that one.
Round 2, they
Okay.
lose.
That sounds fair.
I'll put that on there. And then Texas wins tomorrow by more than 12.
Gosh, you guys are making this an easy money bet.
So there, that's my picks for the week, guys.
You know what? I'm just gonna tell you the
Just take KU's gonna cover, dude.
No,
I know that the 1 seeds have not covered 8 out of the last 12,
Correct.
but that I just think that KU is going to cover that.
So-
it's only
Uh,
21 points, right?
K-State 77,
I'll-
Montana
I'll
68.
give you the biggest controversy pick right here, and you guys can fade or whatever the hell you want to do. In all my brackets, and I will not pick this team to win a game, the losing team to win a game in any of my brackets. I got Iona over UConn, who a lot of people have favored to win the whole thing. Iona over UConn at plus 385 on FanDuel. Rick Pitino is going to beat that UConn Huskies team because that UConn Huskies team is not that good.
What is the spread on that?
I'll tell you the spread here. I'm on money line. So
I'm not giving you Rick Pitino. He's a hollow shell of what he used to be, but I'm interested in what the point spread is to see if I want to bet on Iona to cover.
UConn -9.5.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Isn't Rick Pitino like 90 years old at this point, or
No.
60, 70?
Probably like 50s, 60s.
Old as
somewhere.
shit.
He's going to the Big East. He's going to be UConn's enemy. He's going
Old.
to St. John's.
Is he old as shit or is he old as fuck? Because that makes a difference in whether I want to bet on that or not.
Well, no matter how old you get, you can still shit.
That's
But
true.
I don't know if you can
Sorry.
do the other thing.
I'm
when you get
pretty
older.
sure it is Rick Pitino. Yeah, not Richard.
Jason, so are you worried about all the hackers going to steal your money in here?
Yeah.
70.
I mean, it's
hey,
you guys
Rick,
understand that's not even real cash.
Rick,
Like we're in a
is
banking
70.
Is that
Rick is
Monopoly
70.
money?
we're in a banking crisis right now. This is all electronic
Are you
money.
guys-
So
I know what
you
you're saying.
fuckers can just take it right now. That's not even real. There's no
I'm
such
not-
thing as cash
I ain't
anymore.
getting- no,
That's true.
I ain't gonna explain.
It's all in
Doesn't
crypto.
exist.
Is it going to be in crypto, Bitcoin, or what?
That is crypto.
yeah.
That,
crypto.
that thing that you're looking
That's
at right
crypto.
now is cryptocurrency. You can steal it.
It's fabricated money.
What do we got? 45 seconds before I have to take it off the table and they can steal it from me?
Something like that, yeah.
No, I'm not explaining computer stuff to you guys.
I am worried about the hackers.
I'm
To
not
answer your
explaining
question,
computer stuff to
yes.
you guys.
That is a yes or no question. And yes, I am afraid of the hackers.
The good news is for the hackers, you're going to take that money with you, but Tanner still has $10,000 stashed down here. So
That's true.
they don't have to worry about that money going
Come
anywhere.
dig the backyard.
Yeah. He's got
Yeah.
a trap door.
That way if the hackers show up, they're just going to
Yeah.
get his money, not yours.
Don't give him a
Yeah.
fake address, Tanner. Give him a fake address so they don't know where you live.
I ain't gonna explain computer stuff to you guys. So
All right, guys.
it's too hard.
I'm going to have one more NA beer, and that's about my tap out for the day.
I'm gonna start mining some Bitcoin after this, actually. Start do some mining.
Do it on his computer though, so that way because
All right,
it takes
guys.
up a lot of space.
All right, guys. Make sure you guys hit like, subscribe, follow. Hop into it next on this upcoming Saturday. We'll be on for In the Hoop once again, and then there's also a special episode on Let's Talk Sports that I'll be on with Dan. So make sure you guys tune in. So it's gonna be a good time.
That's right. Well,
Okay.
let's hope the Chiefs can get it going, get some things ramped up for the offseason a little bit, some free agents on the mix. Either way,
And-
just looking for the draft.
Okay, send us out.
And I'll see you guys on the next one.
Outro.
Rock chalk, baby.